everyone, and welcome to part 3 on how to create a calendar planner inside of Microsoft Publisher. So as you can see, I've already worked ahead a little bit, and we're actually going to be jumping back and forth between two different files because I needed to know some things like what size fonts and things to use and what style of font I was going to use. And so I took the liberty to jump ahead and do some practice stuff first. So we're going to be jumping back and forth between this file and where I left off, which is right here. So as you can see, we've really got our work cut out for us today. So let's deep dive into this right away. Now, the first thing that we want to do is, remember, anything that we do inside of a master page is something that's going to be repeated on every single page inside of the document if that master page is applied to it. Because we do have two different master pages. We've got this one here and this one here. So as we can see, I can try clicking. I'm not able to edit anything that is on the page right now because it's part of the master page. And as I was looking at this file, I realized a couple of things. One is on the previous month and the next month coming up, we can easily put in the days of the week because that will repeat on every single page. So let's start out by first editing this master page, and then we'll jump into actually getting content into our very first month and start the weekly plans. Okay, so to open up the master page, we're going to right click right here on pages 2 and 3. We're going to go down to master pages and say edit master pages. And as you can see, we do have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday inside of these cells here. I know they don't show up, or at least Thursday, Friday, and Saturday don't show up in the actual file. It's a glitch in my copy of Microsoft Publisher. I don't know why that's happening. Still have not been able to figure it out. But just know that when it prints, it does print correctly, even though you don't see it once we're outside of the master page. But let's go ahead and do a couple of things here right off the bat. I'm going to click on this outline, and using the little zoom slider down here in the lower right, we're going to actually zoom in so we get in nice and close. Now, once I started editing, I found that there were a couple of things I needed to do. First of all, these corners are just a little bit too large, too round. This is the default that is set up by Microsoft Publisher, and I wanted to scale that in. So instead of it being, that looks like about, what is that, 1/8 of an inch, I wanted to make it like a 1/16 of an inch, so we can just grab a hold of that little yellow triangle and we can drag it back over here and then let go, and we'll notice that it has now given us a shorter or a smaller round. I want to go ahead and copy that into this space, so we'll delete this one. Holding down Control and Shift, we'll grab a hold of that outline and drag a new one out. Alright, so that's the first thing. The next thing we want to do, go over to the Home tab, and we're going to insert a table that is going to be 1 cell deep and 7 cells wide. So there it is. It's a little bit too large right now for us to see, so I need to zoom out here a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this in as much as I can. Slide this one over. Now what's going to happen here is it may not get small enough or stay small enough. It looks like it is for right now, but if I drag this to try to make it smaller, it's only going to go so far, and that's because of the font size that's inside of here. So if I start typing something, you're going to notice it's pretty large. So back here at the Home tab, we're going to drop this down to, I believe, 5 point. Now we can make that a lot smaller. It should make it a lot smaller. Alright, I may have lied. It's not moving down to become smaller. But We can move this into place. I know it'll get smaller than that. I just don't know why it's not doing it. And it may be because of the type of font. So we're going to drop this to Arial. I did that with all of the cells selected, so it will do it inside of all of them. And we're going to drop it to 5 point. With all of them selected, I just use Control A to select all. I also want to center up all of these. Now, I decided I didn't like just using a single letter for the days of the week. I liked it better doing 2 letters for the days of the week. And so I did all caps on these. So we did Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then another thing that I needed to do is, I do believe, I used Arial Narrow for the days of the week. And then I also bolded them. So now we can move this in as small as we can. There we go. That looks so much better. And we just wanted to leave some room at the top for the name of the month. So we just bump this up a little bit. And now, holding down Control and Shift, we should be able to copy this over to here. I'm not sure why the plus didn't show up. There, now it's showing up. And now they're right in line with each other. So we are ready to close out that master page for now. We will be back here to edit again in just a little bit. Let's go ahead and copy one of these. We're going to jump over here and paste. And then we're going to move that over to this calendar. And we also need to copy the outline. So we get rid of this one. Delete that out of there and put this one in its place. That gives us the same exact rounded corners that we have on the other page. We'll zoom in on that really quick. That looks great. I still think that that might be a little bit high. We need to move this to the back because I can't select the days of the week right now. So right-clicking on the outline, we can tell it send backwards. Now we can see that the days of the week have come to the front. I think we have them a little bit high right now. I'm going to go ahead and leave them for now, because remember, this outline, this dotted outline, will not actually show up when we print. It's just a bounding box. It's showing us where they are at. Alright, so I like that. Let's go ahead and go back to the Master Page tab and say Close Master Page. And we'll zoom out here. We can now see that we've got in our days of the week here and here. So that's everything that does not change. So on the monthly calendars, as we drop in new months, these elements are not going to change from month to month. Now we need to start putting in the information that does change. So all of the numbers from the previous month and the next month, and of course the current month that we're on. Now, because I am making this calendar planner to be an academic year, we're going to start in August and go through, we'll probably end up going through to June or maybe July. We'll probably just go ahead and make it a full year, go from August through July. And that's how the planner is going to be laid out. So currently we are in 2017, so I can go ahead and drop that on this page. Now remember, we're doing 2017, 2018, so I don't want to put that information on the master page, otherwise I'll not be able to cover it up once we get to the other pages. So To do this, we can go ahead and just draw in a text box here. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on it. Center up. Excuse me. And we'll go ahead and type in 2017. Obviously, we don't want it to be black. We would like that to be reversed, so we're going to go to white. And we're going to use Arial Black and bump that font size up a few times. And now let's go ahead and see what that looks like. It looks like it needs to come down a little bit. I'm just eyeballing this, so whatever looks good. There we go. Looks like it's pretty close to being centered up. And while we're zoomed in, let's go ahead. We'll zoom out here just a little bit. And we'll go ahead and put August in here. Let's draw a new text box. And I think I went... So we are going to left align this, but it's also going to stay in the center of this text box that we've created. So it won't change as if we copy this over to another month. It's not going to change what the next month text looks like. So we've got August. We're going to change this to Arial Black. And we'll start bumping this up. It looks like, I think 48 point is what I went with. And just to test it out, we'll use a larger month like September. Whoo, it just fits. December. Okay, September I think is the largest. Whoops, September. And it's going to fit right on that page just perfectly. Alright, so we've got August in there. Now we are ready to jump over to the previous month and the next month. So let's go ahead and grab a new text box. So back to the Home tab, draw in a text box. And for this one, we're going to center it up. And we have July. Once again, we're going to jump this to Arial Black. So it gets the name of the month nice and bold. And I think we could maybe move it up just a tiny bit so that it's not right on top of the days of the week there. That looks great. Control Shift, and we're going to drag out September. Whoops. September. There we go. So we're in the month of August. Previous month is July. Next month is September. Now that we have those in place, we need to draw out some more cells so that we can actually put in the days of the week. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky, and we're going to see what we can do here. So we're going to draw out a new table. It is going to be 5 cells tall and 7 wide. So as you can see, this is now huge, and we need to make it a lot smaller because it needs to fit right in here. So we're going to make it as small as we can first. And as you can see, it won't get any shorter once again because of our font style and the size of the font in each one of the cells. So by selecting all of them, so I'm in the first one, I'm hitting Control A. Let's try that again. It should be selecting all of the cells. It's not. So I'm going to manually do it here. Go back to the Home tab. We're going to drop this down to 5-point font, and we are going to use, I think we need to use Arial Narrow for this. Now, selecting just one of them, we can grab a hold of this and make it as short as we possibly can. Now watch what happens here. It doesn't quite fit. Now I could go down to 4-point. I'm going to check the other file that I used just to see And I did. I ended up using 4-point font. But even with 4-point font, it's still not going to fit. So let me show you what happens here. We go down to 4-point font. I'm going to go ahead and try to fit it by dragging this in, if it'll let me. Let's click off of it for a minute. There we go. I'm going to try to drag it in, and that is as short as it will go. So what I did is went ahead and just, with this selected, copy it, Control C. We're going to go into the master page, edit master page, go ahead and paste it in place. Then we're going to click on that outline that we created, and we're going to drag it out until it actually fits that new space. With that done, we can now delete out the cells we created because we don't want them to be there. And we can drag out this one to match it. We'll copy this one over to here, and then go ahead and delete that out and move this one into place. Now it will be correct for the rest of our files. We can go ahead and close the master page. We're back over here. So this is where we're going to start to be doing a lot of copying, pasting, and moving things around. So we're going to go ahead and get in here. We're going to zoom in so we can get in nice and close. Holding down Control and Shift, we're going to grab a hold of this and we're going to drag it over. And now let me show you how I figured out where the days of the month were going to go and kind of my strategy behind how I did that. So here we are on a Windows PC. We can just come down here to the lower right where it has the calendar and time. And if we click on it, it's going to show us the entire month. So right now we're looking at July of 2017. Now I can already see a problem here, and that is that the first, there's actually like 6 weeks that have dates in them, and we only have 5 tall, so we have to make an executive decision here. I decided that since we're only putting in 5 weeks, that I would use the first full week of the month and start there. So we're actually going to start on 2 and go down here through August 5th. So go ahead and click in here and I'll show you what I did here. With all of these cells selected, oops, let's undo that. With all of these cells selected, we want to make sure that we are centering all of the letters, or all of the numbers. And we'll go ahead and start putting these in. And this is, I know, it's kind of monotonous, and it takes a long time, but this is what it's going to take. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now that we have all of the numbers in place, let's go ahead and edit them. So we've already got Arial narrow. I think we can go ahead and bold them. And the last 4 numbers here are actually the first 4 of, and I actually totally goofed this up. This was supposed to start out with 2, so I need to go back through. Alright, so now I have corrected the numbers. I know I said I was going to start out with 2, and then I went and goofed and did it with 1. So I've re-put them back in. They are now correct. Let's just double check. So yes, Sunday needed to start it out on 2. Now the last 5 numbers, though, are actually into August. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight them, and I'm going to unbold them. And I'm also going to change the color of the font to a fairly light gray. See how that looks there? And now we can take a look at where September starts. So August, September, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We can fit the 1st all the way through the 30th, but we do need to start out on August 27th. So we're going to come over here and do the same thing. We're going to select all those cells, make sure we are 4-point. We are. It's bold, Arial narrow, centered up, and then go ahead and put all of those numbers in. Alright, so now that we've got all of the numbers in place for the previous month and the next month, we'll go ahead and jump to putting in the days for this month. So we're going to zoom out so we can see the whole entire page. And now we need to create enough cells to fill in all of these spaces. Now on the master page, we put in the outline for each one of the days of the month. So we don't need to do any outlining, but we do need to create a table that's going to fit. So to do this, we already know we've got it 5 tall, and we actually need to go 8 wide. And you're going to see why here in just a second. So with that done, let's go ahead and move this into place. There we go. I'm going to grab this corner, pull it down to here. Beautiful. Now, I actually want to zoom in a bit, pretty much so I can see each one of these cells really close. And if we can see that dotted gray line there, we're just going to drag it until it goes right over top. And we need to do this all the way across the page, starting from the left and going to the right. It's very important that you do that, because every time we move it, it does change everything to the right. And this is why we have this space here in the middle, and we need to be able to drag this back into place. I do like that they're snapping into place. That's really cool. You can kind of see it snap there. Alright, we're set. You can jump all the way back out. Going to the Home tab, we're at 10-point, which I think is just fine. We're going to look at our calendar again and find out where August starts. It looks like we've got the 30th and the 31st of July, and then we jump right into August 1. So we've got 30, 31, and then we're right into 1, 2, 3. Be sure to double tab over, because I am just tabbing between cells. Here we need to double tab to get to 3, 4, 5. And just keep on doing this until the whole thing is filled in. Alright, we've got all of our numbers put in for the days of the month. I'm going to go ahead and grab these two here and change them to that light gray. Do the same thing at the end of the month. And for all of the rest of the numbers, minus these two here, I guess maybe I should have done this first. Select them all. We'll jump them to bold, and we need them to all be Arial. There we go. Now we can unbold these ones. Just hitting Control and B after I highlight. Control B. That just fades them out a little bit more, and we get a better look at what the month is. Alright, so that completes getting everything in place for the monthly calendar. I'm going to go ahead and end this tutorial because it's getting really long. And in the next one, in part 4, we're going to jump over here to the week, and we're basically just going to do the exact same thing. We're going to take a look at that. We're going to follow along with the calendar that we already have in place, and we're going to get the days lined out for us here, get the numbers put in, talk about this empty space and stuff like that. So I will see you guys in part 4. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.